I was hoping for it, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
All right, we are now live. So,
Were we dead?
I've heard yes, you both have been itching to talk about it. It sounds like so.
Well, at least to hear your reactions.
All right then. All right then. Well, let's see. Let's see then.
That's always entertaining.
We've got the image that's you sent me, and I looked at a bunch. Well, we can talk about that in time. But let's actually get down to the nitty gritty right away. So, yes, welcome to another Tinto Talk, and yes, they're discussing this most top secret project ever made. Truly, it is the most top secret. This week, we will talk about something that's rather new to our grand strategy games, and that is the concept of international organizations. So, I assume this is the sort of thing like the Hansa.
Not quite.
Okay. Now, this may sound like an anachronistic term, and when you read further in this talk, you'll go, but you already have this in previous games. Yes, we did have some hard-coded systems in previous games, like the Holy Roman Empire. This is Huh? What we have here in Project Caesar is completely dynamic system, 100% scriptable and extendable for modders, which allows for many of these and with far more flavor. Ooh. What is an international organization? Well, at its heart, it is a group of countries that share some common things, and then quite a few attributes that can be defined for them. The instruction file right now is 140 lines long and will keep growing. That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, that's the instruction file, as in what the notation they've got for modders.
That's quite a bit of text just to explain how that works. I am very eager to get my hands on that in like a year or so. Some examples of things that an international organization can have are if it has a leader or not, and if the leader is a character or a country. Oh.
Big group there. Characters exist.
Characters exist, yes.
Models.
Character or a country.
But I'm going to put some water on that thing, because later in a comment, Johan says that EU4 also had characters in the form of country rulers.
Yes.
But are they going to expand on it like they did from Vic 2 to Vic 3?
From the way Johan mentioned it in that comment, because he was also responding to somebody asking, are they going to be like, expanded like Vic 3 characters, because people are taking this as an indication. His response was, there were characters also at EU4 leading countries, so I believe the implication is they're characters in the sense that EU4 had characters.
I would not be surprised if that's what it means. Because I could definitely see, for example, the explanation being X country is the leader of something. But then, like the Holy Roman Empire is an example where specifically this character is the leader, and it changes every time that character dies. So there might be something where, like an international organization, I bet, like a trade league. That's an international organization, I imagine, in this case, too.
They mention they're different in a comment.
Okay. Fine. Fucking cool what they're doing, then.
You'll see what they're doing very soon. Well, you can probably see it by the picture.
Yeah, I see. What the heck kind of things? Right. Yeah. Country. If it's unique or there can be multiple of it. Okay, so like the HRE is unique. Yeah. If locations can be owned by it or not. Member benefits or penalties, laws and policies it can have, special statuses inside the organization, so electors, free cities, how members will behave during wars. Makes sense, yeah. And dozens more. Very fun. I can imagine it. I can imagine how the code looks. I want to see, but they won't let me see it. Keeping it from me. Membership in some of these can take a Diplo slot. We have good old-fashioned Diplo relation slots. Wow. All right.
Apparently, Diplo slots versus Diplo capacity is something still being discussed internally by Paradox, whether they want to do
that would not surprise me, though. I would not surprise me at all. They're doing this ahead of the game, so that they're working with these dev diaries like early as they can, so that they can make sure that this game is good and based on feedback. Because I don't want Vicky to happen again.
Exactly. A lot of the feedback on this one was for capacities for diplomacy. So Johan seemed pretty receptive to it in the comments. So we might be seeing that change in the near future.
As we continue our development of this game, we keep adding more of these, adding more unique flavor to the game. More of them. Damn, I wonder what kind of ones they have. Because they've got HRE and the Pope, it seems. Control groups, like in every Paradox game, had since EU1, and Stellaris added icons for quick selects. The one for Project Caesar can be pretty much anything in the game, and if you start as a member of an organization, you get a control group for it from the start. Surely you can be in multiple then, right?
Yes. You can be both an HRE member and part of the Catholic Church.
I suppose it must just be like anyone who's Catholic is just added to the Catholic Church International Organization thingy, which is a really interesting concept. Just the idea that, because that's very much a Catholic thing, that idea that all of them are a part of an international community, and that there's
one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church.
Yes, that sounds very interesting to me. I've got stuff I've been cooking. I've had stuff that I was cooking on last night for like world building stuff that this actually works really well in regards to. I'm curious. Common organizations. Let's take a look at some of the generic ones. Okay. This is more what I've been really curious about. What new, just like common and generic things. Some of these have been hard-coded systems. I've been streaming too much. Hard-coded systems in previous Grand Strategy games, and these are not unique organizations in the campaign, but can exist in multiple instances. A coalition. All right, these can be created with a country as a target. Aggressive expansion. Unions. This is a list of defensive alliances between countries that share the same ruler. Defensive alliances.
Yeah, it's interesting what they've done with unions based on Johan's comments. So, based on his comments, by default, a personal union only is a defensive alliance. One doesn't dominate the other. But the comments sound like eventually one partner can come to dominate the other via integration. Depending on factors and stuff like that.
Calmer union.
I imagine that, the Kalmar Union, for example, that's a union like that. So this is very interesting then, because then how that must work then is that there is this international organization, all the countries that are in unions together like that have this push and pull of how integrated they are, and there's a chance that they could just slip out of like their link, because that's a thing that happened all the time. In EU4 that does not happen. The only way that happens is if they don't like each other, which doesn't happen.
Or if pretender rebels break a country.
Okay,
that can also
that's true.
The union.
Yes, but in this, I can imagine then that it would be a much more back and forth thing where you will have countries and personal unions, like they'll form and then they'll break apart due to some reason or other, where they slowly integrate more. Interesting things like maybe paying a tax. Maybe you start working towards things like, all right, you must join like all the wars, for example, or one of them has to start paying money to the other. And maybe there's a similar thing for vassal states, but no, it can't be that way for an international organization for vassals. That wouldn't make sense. I don't think so, but
yeah, I don't think vassals work quite this way, because vassals are subservient to another country, whereas a personal union, technically both members are equal. They just share the same monarch.
Yes.
Even if on a practical level, there were many unions that were unequal. Poland, Lithuania,
Austria, Hungary.
Austria and Hungary,
Britain and Hanover.
Oh
Britain,
God.
or Scotland and England.
There are a few others like this, including defensive leagues and tribal federations. Oh, of course, yeah, that makes sense. You can lump tribes into that, into the same system. This is a really good idea for a system that's very dynamic and moddable. I like that a lot. There we go. Religious organizations. Oh boy. Every country in the world that is a part of the Catholic faith is a part of this organization. So you just are. It's integral to being in that faith. They have issues that the cardinals vote on, and being a member has implications and restrictions. Of course, this has the added benefit of having Catholic pops in Catholic countries paying a tithe to the church, which eventually finds its way back to the papacy. I don't know why you would describe that as a benefit, but yeah.
They
Look at the monthly gold. So this is the Pope's
Yeah.
income. You can see why it might be called a benefit in this case.
For the Pope.
Yes.
Guys, commoners. Buying goods. Huh. Catholic.
Papal tithes from 401 countries.
There, that's the one. Why did I miss that? Damn.
Holy
Wow.
Site's confirmed, though.
What's confirmed? Wait, what?
Holy Site.
Oh, yeah. That's a Catholic holy site. So just having Rome is giving the money from just having Rome is giving the Pope money because pilgrims, I guess. That's probably what it means.
Also, you can see exploring costs money, and colonial charters seem to be different.
There's
Is
also
that just going to be... Was that just this colonial charter just going to be similar to what we have now, where it's just 2 gold per colonist, or is it going to be based on a country, perhaps? You perhaps immediately spawn a colonial nation of some sort.
Well, they've mentioned so court spending. They've mentioned before, for example, that's something everyone has in certain like countries, like sizes of the country and such will expect certain amounts of court spending. Good old CK3 mechanics. But the colonial nations, like the way you're saying, instantly getting one, they've said that it's something that you most often will want to actively seek to create. So it's an option, we know. You don't have to make a colonial nation. But
yeah, my presumption is that it's based on the English model of charter colonies. Like the Virginia Company or what have you. So that some of the burden on the state is reduced.
See, companies were something I was very much hoping to see, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like they're a thing here. Just separate sort of landless countries that may or may not be tied to a tag, similar to the banks that they mentioned earlier.
Yeah, at this stage, I think we just gotta wait and see.
Or DLC material.
I'm gonna imagine that the colonial charters is. I'm gonna guess that is just the cost, like the colonial maintenance when you send a colonist to a spot. However, that bloody works in this, because it's gonna be different. In this, with actual pop mechanics, it ain't just gonna be, oh, here's your colony growth rate. Who knows how that'll work? We'll see eventually.
Plus 20 colonists a month.
Yeah. One reason to go Lutheran. Stop paying the Pope.
Yeah, I'm assuming it goes to like a national church or something in those cases.
East India Company. I imagine that the East India Company is like I highly doubt. See, my thoughts on that is I highly doubt that colonial nations are going to be something that's restricted to just North and South America. And Australia. I imagine that in this, based on the idea of it being something you want to do to create them most of the time. I bet it's just like an overseas possession in general thing where like maybe you can just, if you've got land in India, you can just make your colonial nation there like that. You go through some process to make one. Maybe you can even just make a vassal like Aquitaine that like the British have. Maybe because like the English can't really control Aquitaine very well, so maybe they would actively be able to and want to make a country like that. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yes, crusades and jihads. Huh. Temporary international organization.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
They'll be created when a crusade or jihad is called. They have a target set and act like an alliance against that country. So, yes, that is interesting.
Ottomans in shambles.
I mean, they won the last time they got crusaded.
Yeah, Varna didn't go too well.
Varna hasn't happened yet, but it sure as hell can.
I feel like mechanically that's not going to be as easy as it was for the Ottomans in real life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't.
Because in real life, you can sort of kill the enemy king and beat their army in one battle and the war's over. That's not something you can do in EU.
This is true.
We'll have to see whether it's like what like actual like hands-on, warfare is like in EU5 though. I don't know, maybe battles are really decisive or something. But jihads will be a thing as well. That's interesting. Autocephalous patriarchates. Huh?
Yeah, that's an Orthodox thing.
Meaning self-headed. An autocephalous patriarchate is a metropolitan bishop in the Eastern Christian confessions, which acts independently and does not depend on or answer to any other hierarchically superior church authority. The different patriarchates then have their own synods of bishops to decide upon anything affecting their own religious jurisdiction. Just Orthodox things, yes. Oh God. We have the Balkan one. Do we? Wait, that's not the Balkan one. That's like Georgia. There's Sophia. Oh God. What the heck is this?
That's Bulgaria.
Yeah, that's Bulgaria.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Bulgaria. I wasn't confused about what Bulgaria was. It's more like this one is like, what the? Nicosia?
Ethiopia appears to
Nicosia
be
is
Orthodox,
Cyprus.
not Coptic. Well, Alexandria, that's the Ethiopian flag, I think.
It is.
So I think, are they going to be considered like how they were in the start of EU4, where they were Orthodox? Or is it just showing the list of every patriarchate?
Yeah,
non-Orthodox.
They say
these aren't necessarily Orthodox. They do later on mention that it's also for the Eastern churches.
It says Eastern Christian confessions. It's just saying just Eastern churches. So I bet this would probably apply to Nestorians too if they existed. I don't know. Maybe there are some Nestorians
only
left.
the Nestorian block had this.
If only they did. It's tragic. You could all be under one patriarch.
Well, with the addition of, the whole, pop system with minorities and stuff, no reason not to have the Eastern Nestorians.
Yeah, that's true. Even if there's no countries that have it, there's just have random Nestorian pops hanging out in China and such. That'd be interesting. I'm sure there's lots of things you can mess around with that. You got to have your play as China and swap to Nestorian challenge run like you would swap to Jewish as random people in the Imperator Rome, But I do. Yes, this is very interesting because this, only a couple of these would probably be considered Orthodox.
No, I think all of them except Alexandria are. Actually, no, I don't think Ani is. I think the Armenians are different.
Yeah,
the Armenians are Monophysites.
But Sophia, Nicosia, Tbilisi, and Constantinople are.
Yes. That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, the Armenian Apostolic Church would make sense to me. Work in progress graphics. I mean, it looks good.
Graphics.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't change, this looks clean. It looks fun to click on. I bet if you hover over it, it like lights up. I bet all of this gets highlighted and it looks all nice, and probably has a nice clicking sound when you select it. There are many of these for Orthodox. Oh, okay. There are many of these for Orthodox, Miaphysite, and other Eastern Christian confessions. So there's more. Just Eastern Christians in general, yeah. Miaphysite. Some other religions have a central organization, and others have fragmented ones. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the bloody Lithuanians church probably does not have a centralized authority. Oh wow, that's an interesting map. Some fair amount of
Muscovy wasn't so united at this time.
A fair amount of completely unique and flavorful organizations. So, yeah, what's this then? This is terrifying. This image is terrifying to me for one reason, and that one reason is that you can't see the Tatars. You can't see their name.
Yeah, the Golden Horde is still very, very big and very, very powerful at this point in time.
It's so big you can't see their name. The Church of Cyprus. It's just funny to me. The reason I was looking at the church, the Patriarchate of Nicosia, it was just surprising to me because, I mean, this is the Jerusalem and Cyprus flag, which is kind of weird because you'd think that the order would be not Orthodox. So why does this show up? What does this mean? Yes, the Tatar yoke consists of various principalities of Eastern Europe that are subject to Tatar rule following their invasion in the 13th century. The most prominent of these rulers is awarded the title of Grand Prince and is tasked with collecting tribute from the other tributaries on behalf of the Golden Horde Khan. Makes sense to me.
So this is really interesting because it's an international organization that doesn't actually benefit anybody in the organization.
It's a bad one.
Getting the benefits, yes, because the one getting the benefits are the Golden Horde because they're getting the tribute being collected by Muscovy.
You actively, I bet though, as Muscovy, there's probably a way to centralize your authority over these princes through this system, even though it's disadvantageous for you overall. You can probably make use of it to your own ends and centralize authority over these people and then get rid of it once you no longer have a use for it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that's a thing. Some of these I feel like are just you want to get out of them because they only harm you. Like this, I think, could be an example of one such.
Seeing someone in chat refer to them as papists. That is a term I haven't heard in a while. Oh boy. But the Middle Kingdom. I was curious if there would be something for China like this. So, the Middle Kingdom is the meaning of China and has been considered the cultural center of East Asia since antiquity. This organization is led by Huangdi. Huangdi, the Emperor of China. So it is going to be the HRE, but in the East, I guess. Please?
Not
more
quite.
HREs? No, give me more HRE.
It's actually really interesting. Keep reading.
Okay, fine. God damn it, so needy. Anyway, it has a large number of fengcheng, akin to vassals or tributaries that can be promoted to celestial governors, equivalent to secretariats that the Yuan dynasty used in the administrative organization of their empire. Its members have a unique societal value. Sinicized versus unsinicized. And there's a tribute system that determines how much celestial authority the Huangdi gets, which is used to enforce laws and decrees. Huh.
Yeah, this whole thing sounds like it's an evolution of the Mandate of Heaven system, essentially, from EU4.
Yes, one where China itself probably does not de facto control a lot of land, and instead has this, because okay, this sounds like something I would still call the HRE of the East, but it's not. It's different and unique. I can see that for sure. And there's a lot of it's going to have a lot of mechanics. Like the HRE is meant to be static and then like slowly crumbles. This is built seems to be built around the idea that you can expand it and add more states to it and try to sinicize them and add them to China proper, I think, is the idea.
And it will grow larger.
Yes.
Did something like that ever even happen, though? Because Korea never had a sinicized governor.
Well,
Vietnam.
You could argue that
and the
Korea
south
had a pretty
of China in general.
Government.
But they were never part of China. They were always known as the tributary. The first tributary, but still a tributary.
Mm-hmm. But we don't quite know what sinicized versus unsinicized causes. It might just be referring to their government type and stuff like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Mind you, this sounds like what you could do in EU4 already, where you can create tributaries and then you're able to elevate the tributaries and then integrate them eventually.
Although, interestingly, it's a reverse. Well, let's continue reading.
Okay. Fine. Oh, God. Ooh, nice Yuan Dynasty flag. Yes. Every month. Payees. Kingdom of Goryeo. Kingdom of Diaviet. Champa 2. Okay, fair enough. The Grand Theocracy of Tibet. Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Sure. That's grand.
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, it's just the grand before it. It's like, oh, I didn't think we were that ostentatious in Tibet, were we? But fair enough. And then the minor tribe. There's tribes and then minor tribe. This is a big scroll. That is a big scroll bar. There's a lot of these here.
A lot of really small dudes, just in like Burma, maybe northern Laos, maybe the northern Philippines. I think Luzon is the name of the island.
I need to know. I really want to know how much does this take away? Like how much of the land of China proper is considered subjects that are payees like this?
My assumption is not very much based on the map they showed, way back when the first view of the Indian subcontinent.
Oh yeah.
With the population values, China looked pretty unified there.
I'm actually looking at this. The words don't. Maybe I'm just bad at English, but doesn't payers suggest that the yuan is the one paying people?
Correct. In
yes.
fact, they go on about this because.
Oh.
And actually, I had to do research into this during my undergrad. So it was reciprocal,
Oh, the Huangdi sends the gold.
Yes, because the tributaries would send, tokens of their submission, trade goods and exotic stuff. But then in exchange, they would get goods from the emperor and trading rights and things like that often ended up costing China just as much, if not more, than what they got from the tributaries. So it was a thing of their, or at least this is one of the arguments, that, the imperial tribute system was more about social capital and prestige and things like that than necessarily economic value that they got out of it. China is the center of the world. Look at how all these barbarians come and give us homage, and we give them gold because we're so prosperous we can get away with, frivolously spending it, that sort of spiel.
Yes.
Which
Why
makes
is
sense because it gives you, because they are in your system, which supposedly you're able to enforce laws or some other thing on, and that costs you money to maintain and get the authority needed to pass those things. So it's a give and take. You get benefits for being the Middle Kingdom, Emperor of Heaven, all that good jazz, but it costs you money to maintain.
And then of course, I guess the idea is that you eventually would try to centralize authority over these people, but
maybe
I don't know. Because you do that in EU4. There was something. What did they say? They said something here that made me think. Oh, it was literally just the sinicized versus unsinicized that made me think that.
Because I'm not 100% sure if they will have you do that, because I get what you're getting at, because in EU4 they have that reform late in game for the Celestial Emperor where you can turn tributaries into vassals by spending your mandate. But with the way they're discussing this system, you can't have a Middle Kingdom if there isn't a periphery. So I don't know. I just don't know. I'm intensely curious to see how it ends up working.
Yeah, I mean, China's plenty strong enough, plenty dense enough and strong enough that they don't need to expand de facto to get power. But who knows? Hunhi. The Holy Roman Empire. Oh golly gee! The glory of the ancient Roman Empire lives in the memory of all Europe. Charlemagne was crowned Roman Emperor, but it was not until the coronation of Otto the Great that the current Holy Roman Empire was born. Once again, recovering the ambitions of a revived and unified European empire. This organization, of course, led by an emperor, has different statuses for countries like secular and religious electors, secular princes, free cities, and imperial prelates. Don't know if I've heard that term before. It has laws that impact the organization and its members, the most important at the early game being the Golden Bull. Yes, I must know. Which is a must to get approved in order to further develop the institutions of the empire. That was the big one that established the permanent electors and some other stuff.
For imperial prelates, collectively imperial abbots, provosts, and priors were formerly known as Reichsprelaten imperial prelates. So it seems to be the catch-all for kind of the clerical states in the empire that aren't, bishoprics.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, there are others in the game at the moment, like the Shogunate and the High Kingship of Ireland, and many more, as the system is very flexible to use. Next week, we will talk about what religions we have in the game. Ooh, boy, religions.
I think Catholic might be one of them.
I think Lutheran might also be a possibility.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's hard to say for sure. Yeah, there've been a couple. We saw a picture that had Calvinist in it really early on. One of the first couple diaries. Which is just, oh boy, we're going to have a ton of tiny little Protestant faiths.
If I can't have the Mormons spawn, I'm going to be disappointed.
The Mormons better be. I need Mormonism to spawn in North America. I need that to be a possibility. That would be so fun. The chance of you having it. Oh my god, an event happens where you have the chance of potentially having your North American colony flip to being Mormon, and you have to decide what to do about it.
It'd probably be more like maybe there's an event where the Mormons you can either embrace the Mormons or kick them out, and if you kick them out, they just go to Utah.
That's right, Goat. The Mormons. They're better. We're hoping that there's going to be an event for them just so that we can kick them out to Utah again.
Nah,
so, I mean, some of them
kick them out to Utah. That's not harsh enough.
I mean, some of them came out to Alberta too.
You're right. We'll send them to Alberta. There's nowhere worse.
What a terrible fate indeed. There's a chance you'll exist? No. No, there's no chance you'll exist when I get my hands on the game. All jokes aside, I think that's that would be a really fun dynamic thing to happen as an example of just even later game religions that could pop up with how granular they're making it seem like they're going to be. Wow. What a great comment.
Don't forget, Dev responses. Wow.
Nope, just gotta read it. Wow. Everything.
Wow.
But this image... This image... It is beautiful, Vector. It is so goddamn beautiful. I love this. It makes me so happy.
How Venice is.
Look at wimpy little Venice. Verona exists. It's so beautiful. I mean, Venice has some stuff along the coast. Little Ragusa probably is there. That's what that is.
I think this is technically closer to Venice actually was. At the very least, Venice isn't a super massive island in the Mediterranean anymore.
It's a little nugget. Do you have a problem? What? Is there an issue with the Frisian freedom? Excuse me? What's wrong with Frisian freedom, Technomancer?
Honestly, I'm a big fan of the nation of Die.
There it is! Die!
I know it's just a shortened version, but I really like Die.
I need to take a screenshot of that for later use in memery. Dit and Rit. And then we've got...
It's the greatest in Korodai, or else you will die.
We have the we have the two Holsteins. Holstein something and Holstein other, and then Schleswig is up there. Ham. What's wrong with ham?
An abbreviation because it's so small.
See, ham is less funny because I know what it stands for. I know it's supposed to be Hamburg. I have no idea what die is for.
I have no idea what that is either.
I don't have the foggiest.
But one of the things that is hilarious to me, of course, from looking at this map, is Austria. It is horrifying. There's some things almost as horrifying as Austria, but nothing.
And they haven't even fully subdivided it as it could possibly be, because they could easily split it up into Austria, Styria, Gors, I want to say, and all have them ruled by the same duke.
Who was emperor at this time? Was this when Luxembourg was?
Yeah, this was the Luxembourg dynasty. They ruled, Luxembourg, obviously, but they also held Bohemia and Brandenburg.
I think that's why Bohemia is colored like that, because...
Or Luxembourg isn't.
But
I think those are colored that way because we're looking
yeah, they're elected. Like, look at Rhine. Rhine is the Palatinate.
I think that... Are you sure that they're not all just owned by the same guy?
Well, Brandenburg and Bohemia and Luxembourg are all owned by the same person.
Yeah, but I don't think the Palatine ever was.
Yeah, remember, this is slightly before the Golden Bull, which they mention is one of the first things the HRE has to do.
But that they also mentioned that it's guaranteed to happen. So I wouldn't be
So
surprised if some facets of it were initiated and before it's fully solidified.
so what you're saying is that you think that that color means elector, this blue color,
Good.
because there's no permanent electors, but they might be some
There's
starting
also
ones.
Saxony. Saxony's also that color.
Yeah.
Saxon Wartenberg.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 electors.
It was the Golden Bull that I think made it the 7.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. That would be interesting because then I imagine that if and when you pass it, or it's guaranteed, I don't know. When it happens, you would presumably the emperor would get to choose. Because Luxembourg is very thick. It's beautiful. I don't. The Low Countries are horrifying though, because you have stuff like Zealand being its own thing. It just is. Zealand's just fine, and then there's France. There's just France there.
God forbid and protect us, France.
But like the way Austria.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
Wait,
pieces.
it's all
Austria
Always
has been. Austria.
But can we recreate the Kingdom of Arlay?
What is that?
Burgundy and CK3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this. Yeah.
Burgundy and Arpiton, basically.
I mean, part of it's under France, part of it's in the Empire. Then there's a free city in the middle of it, just because.
You know, I've decided that's what I'm playing next Mega.
You're gonna play Bess?
Burgundy?
I'm gonna play Arlay.
Oh. Starting as Bess.
I don't think they exist in CK3.
It's right there. Oh. That's... Maybe. Bern being a free... You gotta start as the free city of Bern and then unite all the Swiss cantons. That's what you gotta do. But okay. Also, I noticed something that makes me very happy down there. Yeah. Tucked away in the middle of the Pyrenees, all by itself, with only one neighbor, that being Aragon, or the Crown of Aragon, is AND. And I could not be more happy. I'm so happy to see you.
We've known that's been coming for a while, but it's good to see.
We've heard that it was going to be a thing, but actually seeing it there is just so... Oh boy, that's a horrifying nation to play. Like, I can't imagine that.
They just sit there all game, doing nothing.
They have precisely one neighbor. And it's Aragon. I don't know what Mal is, but some people I talk to. But why? It can't be. Why would Mallorca have that and then this? That's horrible. That's horrible. Because they can't do that.
Did you know that Britain owned Minorca for a long time?
Why?
Because. I mean, did you know Navarre owned a chunk of Normandy?
Yeah, they don't now, but they could.
The power of feudalism, Joffrey. This is your brain on feudalism.
Yeah, France is a great time. Like the fact that France is down here and up here split among other things. We're like, so northern France and southern France are split by Bourbon, and then whatever the fuck this is, I don't know what that is. It's just there's just a chunk of something.
Country.
Doesn't even have a name there. Who has that?
But look at that beautiful Aquitaine.
France in the middle here. This is one little France. Aquitaine. Which Britain owns, like London. England. England has.
Of course.
Kingdom of England, which is pretty centralized. Goddamn. Like,
Except
Wales. They've got
Apparently
Wales.
the reasoning for that, or Johan was joking at least, who knows how serious he was, but it's because the British content designer is Welsh.
Huh.
Nice.
Well, I mean,
again, I'm not sure if he was just joking about it or not.
It's probably a joke. Because it would be... It just... If they had all of the land south directly administered from London, that'd be kind of strange. It even feels a little strange to me that there aren't more vassals in here. Like, even like this. Because right now...
England was abnormally centralized in the medieval period compared with...
Rise up, my Cornish brethren, yes! Oh, I mean, I'm not related to the Cornish at all, but it's fun. But yeah, I mean, okay. All jokes aside as well, England's gonna have a Scottish vassal that's like fighting a civil war, the Welsh, and Aquitaine. Do they have Normandy as well? I think they have Normandy.
Monarchy gameplay.
So that's over 3 vassals, so I think they can be allowed to chill. They don't need to be like France with like 17 vassals.
No, dual monarchy gameplay. Also, I don't think they had Normandy at this time.
Oh, well, someone has it.
They might.
In the middle of the 100 Years' War.
This was right before the 100 Years' War, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, just before it started, which was started in large part because of the constant English and French bickering over who owns what. The French were trying to slowly take away English possessions on the continent.
Well, they definitely have Aquitaine.
Yes, they have Aquitaine.
Don't know about Normandy, but whatever. France certainly doesn't need it with how powerful they look at this point. I don't know what Brittany's probably its own thing. But...
I feel like France might be a bit of a paper tiger, actually, or it looks more powerful than it actually is, because this is before the French monarchy brought all its constituent parts to heal its appendages in line. So.
Oh God, where's Paris in this? Is Paris like here? I think.
Yeah, they're about.
God damn. This is nasty. It's gonna look beautiful in the most horrible way possible. I can't wait to just okay, there's also things like fucking the Provence. Provence is different from Anjou. Are they in a personal union as a vassal? Has that not happened yet?
This wasn't a thing yet.
Okay. And I guess we'll find out what the deal is with Burgundy. Does Burgundy have this as a subject?
What happened there was the King of Naples became King of Provence, and he also became King of Anjou. And then eventually Aragon became King of Naples, but Provence and Anjou were separated.
It's something like that. The House of Anjou went kind of crazy. They were also Hungary for a time, I believe.
They're in Hungary now.
Yeah, they were Hungary, Naples, Provence, Lorraine, and Anjou, I believe.
They're going to be a stupidly powerful house at this point. That dynasty is going to be everywhere.
Split up house, just in pieces everywhere.
Hungary, though. Surely Hungary is stupidly powerful. I say stupidly a lot. That's 3 times really quickly. But Hungary has to be crazy powerful in this. There's so many, like, the Serbian Empire? Are they gonna stop Hungary? No. Wallachia? No. Moldavia? No.
You underestimate their power.
I don't even think shit Poland is gonna do it. This is ass Poland. Worst Poland's been. Like,
well, it's
dreadful.
It's Casimir the Great, so I imagine they're going to be pretty on the rise.
I recognize that name. That means that they're about to do stuff that's good. They're probably going to clean up this bullshit, and then it's a problem when I genuinely can't tell which vassals are of the Teutonic Order and which ones are of Poland, because I can't. I don't know. Who has Eno?
Elmo for Teutonic would be my guess.
Palm. I don't know what Palm is, actually. I mentioned this earlier in a chat. Like, I don't know what Palm... Pomerania is not a thing.
Yeah, Pomerania is not a unified entity. So I just...
Pomerelia?
That's a name I recognize. Chelmno? Is that...
Yes, that's a thing.
Is that under the Teutons? Or is this like...
Warmia, I know, was a bishopric. That was...
They're all bishoprics. Anything that's not the Teutonic Order but is one of their subjects is going to be a bishopric, just like with the bloody Livonians and their Brotherhood of the Sword and other Dorpat and shit. Lithuania is going to be fun. I think that is going to be a great game.
I'm pretty sure they're still pagan at this point.
Exactly.
Or at the very least, part of their land is pagan. I can't remember. When did the Grand Duke convert?
I had a conversation with people when you showed me the map. They're pagan for another like 30 years from game start.
Yeah, 1387. So another 50 years was the Christian.
In Mayu and Taxes, they're still pagan, and Mayu and Taxes is later than this.
Look for the funny letters, and then you know it's Polish.
1387. Yeah, that was the official adoption, though. Christianity had been making inroads into it for quite a while before that. So
then it's probably going to have like...
Yeah, it'll probably start pagan religion, but it'll have large Christian minorities and possibly events to keep converting to Christianity, unless you take action against it.
Stop them! Stop them! It must be stopped. The funny, like, because their religion, the religious icon is funny. Romuva, it is funny because it's like the, what is that? The Lovecraft, like Lovecraft symbol where it's like the funny. Pine tree leaf on the side. It's like that, but it's tilted up. I like Lovecraft. Oh, that's right. Silesia is horrible. That's one thing.
Yeah, common Silesia moment.
Loaded.
It's horrible. It's so awful.
Horrible.
If Dracat saw this, he would probably just say, yes, typical Silesian. I assume because he's a Pole, I guess. I don't know. Did the Poles like the Silesians? I don't know. I don't know what the deal with Galicia Volhynia is. I just know it's a thing. I'm interested to see that it does exist. It's like, who are these people?
I think it might be the last remnant of Kievan Rus after the Horde switched into it.
Aww.
It's
this is so sad.
It's conquered by Poland, I want to say like 10 or 15 years after games start.
Aww. My poor boys. My poor Kievan boys. Aww. I mean, to their east, we know what this blob is. Oh, you can't. That's... Okay, fuck it.
Duchy of Lit.
No, you can't see. That's not helping either.
Yeah, it's basically the last remnant of Kievan Rus by the sound of things, because it's ruled by the descendants of Vladimir the Great of the Kievan Rus. And was the uniting of two polities, Galicia and Volhynia.
Paint Prince Vladimir the Baptizer of the Rus, pray for us. Yes. Oh, they burned Kiev and it's sad and they're sitting in it. They're still sitting there. This little, like, yeah, it's not showing up on my aspect ratio, but there's just to the east of where my mouse is fidgeting. There's a big old blob of another country, which I imagine is the most western extent of the Horde. Yeah, but I just,
the Horde.
For the Horde. What else was something I wanted to ramble about? There's the other things of note. The Italy is fucking horrible, but in the best way.
We mentioned Johan mentioned that the Gusels and the Ghibellines are another international organization.
Yeah,
No.
Yes.
I haven't heard that term since I had to perform in the Romeo and Juliet play. Oh, goddamn. Oh. This is dreadful. Oh.
You think that's dreadful? Look around Urbino.
Oh. Well, these are probably all, like, vassals of the Pope,
Yeah,
so it's less
those are
bad.
all the various
It's still nasty, though.
owe fealty to the Pope.
It doesn't make it any less nasty.
Fine,
Oh yeah, it's
fine.
still terrible to look at.
Hendrix, make up your mind. Are you playing Ghost of Tsushima or CK3? Make up your goddamn mind.
You could just turn on streamer mode, you know.
I do, but that doesn't apply to Steam.
Damn. Does Steam not have a streamer mode?
No. It has offline. I can do this. Ha! So now it's gone. But Florence is sad.
No, it's not. Look at all those boys it can conquer.
Well, can. Also, it's in the HRE, which helps. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I think it's interesting, the way that the whole, the HRE situation here, where the little, like, purple lines, I imagine, are lands that are de jure part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a lot, it's so much better than it is in EU4 in regards to that, but there's just lots of little bits here and there. It's like, you just gotta reassert authority just a little bit in Italy here and there, and then France, I assume, it looks like France has a vassal peeking in here, probably. I don't know how many of these people down here are, like, I don't know if Provence is a vassal of France or not. And then there's, like, Bar, which very obviously Bar is not. That's a vassal of France. Then you got Flanders, which just isn't in the empire. But you've got there's no issues in the north yet. There's none of that bullshit with the Holstein. At this point, nothing in the east yet either. So, and then you've even got examples of one of the Silesians has land in the east there that isn't de jure in the empire, but they own it anyway. It's just interesting stuff. Europe is a big old mess, yes, and it is hilarious to look at and make fun of, for so many reasons. Just all the different times that France and Austria are mentioned, for example, just fantastic. And then you just look at Hungary, and Hungary is just, you don't see Burgundy. Burgundy's here.
It's on the map, but
it exists.
The Duchy of Burgundy is much smaller. In EU4, you see it at the height of its power and influence.
The part, yeah, the eastern half that they get in the HRE is not theirs yet.
Well, and all their possessions in the Low Country they haven't inherited yet.
They do not at this point own 80% of the Low Countries, yeah. Northern European pickup line. Hey baby, you're the slice pig to my Holstein. Oh no. Gotta fix your eyes. What? Well, does you gotta fix your eyes? What? How does looking at the Frisian freedom help? All those pole vaulting boys. Anyone trying to come in and conquer Frisia gotta deal with those pole vaulting swamp dwelling boys. Ain't gonna work. I want to play the Frisian so much. Oh gosh, there's so many things I want to try out. I want to find out what the different governments are like and how they affect the different pops. I want to know, like, can I just... Is it better? Is it good to play a peasant republic? Or is it bad for some reason? Do they have too much power to the peasants? And so the burghers don't have time to, like, urbanize? Because maybe it's too focused on farming. Maybe it's really good to play someone like Hamburg and just... Or where is it? Where is it? There's probably Frankfurt. What about Nah, well, you want to play someone that's on the coast. But like the idea of playing someone like one of these free cities, even bloody Bess, whatever that is, or Burn, maybe Burn, yeah. Just you play a free city and you just become a republic and you make a very tall country that's very technologically advanced and literate, and you just build up your population while the rest of the world, Europe, is still trying to sort its stuff out. So that's something I'd really like to do. And then there's also the part of me that's like, all right, I need to play as Bohemia, as the Luxembourgs, and just make this even worse. The part of me that just wants to look at this France and just say, but what if I broke it up even more and then added it to the empire and then also did the same with Italy? With that, I think maybe I can stop looking at this map. Maybe we can actually read some dev responses. Or ramble too long about that. I already did ramble too long about it, but you know, that's...
Yeah, we haven't read a single response.
That's how this works. Hey, it's only been...
The dev responses are how we wind down anyways.
It's only been 1 hour. That's not so bad. I think I was tame today.
Disagree.
I will get my sword. Right back up there.
You won't. You won't.
Sword acquired. I have been very tame today.
Wow, is that stainless steel, Joffrey?
It's folded 5,000 times.
Never go full weeaboo.
Yeah, is that stainless steel?
I don't know. Honestly, I didn't buy it.
Does it have made in China anywhere on
it? No, it does not. Sorry. Does he made in China anywhere?
For now.
For now. Gotta. Oh, no, I don't. But will the various colonies of a colonial nation be grouped into organization? No, that's a colonial nation, silly. Hard-coded would be a thing of the past. Architecture, like units existing in locations and belonging in countries, is hard-coded. Huh. Almost all game logic is 100% scripted, including much of the diplomacy. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that means. Script, because like, yeah.
Basically, what can you adjust with a mod versus what is baked into the core function of the game?
Oh.
So like you always have to use locations, and units will be located in locations, and they will belong to countries. That will be the case regardless of what else you modify. But they're trying to basically leave as much open as possible for modders to use and meddle with. I appreciate it.
Yes, Dark antagonized me and forced me to take out the sword, unfortunately.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, but this, yeah, okay, yeah. So the idea is that Johan's explaining that very little is hard-coded. Yeah, is the idea. There is some stuff that has to be, but a lot of it's being made very moddable, which is excellent. Very good. Seems very much of the stuff that we've been seeing as these have been going along has been very moddable, and I'm very pleased with that. Sub-organization.
The Guelphs and the Ghibellines.
Yes. Specifically with how the HRE has regional circles, and of course the Protestant and Catholic leagues. Kind of. You can belong to multiple, and they can be related. I'm pretty sure that Guelph is one, and if Ghibellines. They're only for HRE members. Makes sense. That's a perfect example. That I could not think of a better example other than the Guelphs and the Ghibellines in regards to a sub-organization where it's not directly tied to it, but it's linked to the fact that you are in the HRE and you are in Italy. So those two things,
but
in another organization.
If we have sub-organizations, are there any DOM organizations?
Oh my
I'm
god!
pretty sure that's the Catholic Church in medieval Europe.
Yes. Yes, the Catholic Church is the DOM organization in Europe. You are right.
As they
Look,
should be, for
Big
all
Daddy
time.
Pope has a massive stick formed out of tithe that he can smack anybody with.
As they should be for all time, forever and ever.
Big
Praise be
Daddy
to St.
Pope.
Peter.
Man named Martin Luther.
No, no. We're not letting... If we see anybody writing up a big old list of grievances, we're going to burn him and the letter before he gets published. Not that publishing was a thing yet, but, you know. Can organizations be centralized like the HRE or Native Federations? They can have... Yes, they can have progress down a path. Yes, of course, yeah. The idea is that it's more open and moddable and dynamic than that. It's not just they can be centralized, they can progress. Maybe the progression is not centralization, such as we're talking about China.
That's not what I meant. That was something completely different.
I was not addressing that, what you were saying. I
good.
know, it's not related. I know what you're saying was not related. But yeah, China, for example, maybe China does not centralize. Maybe China just tries to stop itself from being on fire, and that's its end goal. Stop burning.
Stop doing the empire now united must fracture, the empire long fractured must unite. Stop that.
Just stay. Stay. I left you there. Just stay in place, please. You know. Alternatives to enacting the Golden Bull? Nope. The Golden Bull is inevitable by 1337. Oh, the idea is that, like, by the start date, it's basically just guaranteed to happen based on historical factors. There's not really...
So it's the first step currently for any sort of reforming in the HRE.
I imagine, like, yeah, there's no alternate path to it, but I imagine it's similar to being, like, the first reform in EU4 for the Empire basically always happens. But it could technically not. That's what I imagine the situation is. There's a possibility it won't. The possibility is...
I could see them in a later DLC adding an alternative path that, you know, doesn't have the Golden Bowl codifying stuff.
Maybe. Maybe you just permanently have impermanent electors.
Or you do away with the electors shtick.
I don't know if there'd be that would make sense. You couldn't just right off the bat be like, no electors. Unless it's like you have every prince vote. Oh god.
Yeah, exactly.
No!
Parliamentarianism.
No.
Every prince a vote.
Every prince a vote. Every hill a prince.
Exactly.
That's what I want. That's what I want now. Everyone's equal. Continue to fracture. So friggin' cool. Oh, like the Hansa banking mechanics. They have other mechanics. So yeah, the Hansa and trade. I keep moving my hand off the screen. The Hansa and trade banking stuff. Those are their own things. You don't have, like, a country that is a part of the banking organization. But yeah. I am very curious now to learn about, like, Dark was, you know, you're a little sad, but there's still room. We can hope. Because they might be very moddable. These banking, landed state entities that you use for banking and such, and mercenaries. They might be very moddable in what exactly they do and how they exist. So maybe there's room for just fooling around with stuff like that and just saying, here is the non-state entity of Glimbus and his friends.
Glimbus.
I don't know what Glimbus and his friends want, but, you know, they're there. They're important, and you should acknowledge them. Would have thought trade leagues would be perfect for this. Wonder why they're not. I don't know. I can't figure that out. I don't know what other mechanics. I'm not upset about them not being a part of this because it leaves room for more variety in mechanics, and I love me some more variety in mechanics, especially since everything is very moddable they're making so far. More stuff like that means more things for me to tear apart and make something new that I want to use for something.
Yeah, my basic thought is I'm withholding judgment until I know what the other mechanics are.
Yes. Maybe the trade leagues are bad. Who knows? That's why they're showing stuff to us. Because then we can tell them it's bad. And truly, I have the most influence. I am a very influential member of the community. And anything I say will be treated with the highest reverence. Of this podcast here, we are very important. International organizations, strange name. We try to figure out a better name for the past 2.5 years. I don't know what name you could have. IO is an easy shorthand for international organization. I don't mind it. It's I don't know.
Group. Just call them a group.
I don't think that really works.
But it's factually correct.
I mean, yes, but just about anything could be called a
group. You know what, Dark? We've been arguing too long, us Canadians and Americans, over what the correct name for a region in your country is. I think that we should just call a collection of locations on the map
land
a group.
Oh.
See, it's the same logic. It works just as well. Just call everything a group. It's a location group. It's a country group. It's a religion group. That is a thing in CK3, but
not all of these are religious based.
Can IO have civil war? We'll talk about anti-pope soon. Yes, Avignon. Yes, please. The anti-pope. Oh, I need my anti-pope. Oh God. Support the anti-pope and join the other Catholic international organization. That sounds so stupid. Could you make your own patriarchate? I'd like to do that. Yes.
I think he says later on that you can't create like completely different. Like if the HRE is dismantled, you can't replace it with something different.
That's a very specific one and is unique though. Because he said there's generic ones and unique ones.
They mentioned that patriarchates are an example of ones that can spawn. You know, because if a regional church becomes autocephalous, for example, we didn't see the Patriarch of Moscow.
I mean, if China becomes Nestorian for some reason, you certainly ain't going to be following the Orthodox Patriarchate of Constantinople. Anti-popes, plural. Yes, we need one in Avignon. We need our Andorran anti-pope. I think it's time. The anti-pope of Andorra. And yes, the fact that it says anti-popes plural means that there maybe there's like you could just sit down one day, like it's not scripted specifically because, you know, modding, dynamic, and all of this, that's their game plan here. So you might be able to just sit down one day and decide that I want to set up an anti-pope in the middle of Silesia for some reason. I mean, the emperor did that all the time, so from what I understand. Could be yes, unifying, but it's unique. If the content designers designed it that way, yeah. Can the Catholic Church just centralize under the Pope? I don't think so.
No, there should absolutely be a way for the Catholic Church to unify the kingdom of God on earth.
That would actually be hilarious, though, and I wouldn't mind if it was a thing. That would be absolutely hilarious if you could eventually just do that as the Pope somehow. Don't think that would ever be a thing you could do in the base game, but, you know, it's a fun thought. And it's something you could definitely 100% mod, and I want to do that. I definitely want to, I think, make a church that has the ability to do that, because that sounds really fun, to make a religion where there is a faction that is the head of the church. And then also, the cooking, the world building is cooking.
Praise be.
Praise be. Tribute system in China. Yeah. They get their celestial authority by showing how much money they can waste on their tributaries. Yeah. As you said, as you said, Vector. Yes. No caliphate. Yep. Didn't list all. Yep, the caliphates. That sounds great too. Now decide which caliph you're gonna support. Haudenosaunee is a Haudenosaunee would be the Iroquois Confederacy. All my homies know.
Here we go about Patriarchates being created.
All right. You have to be Orthodox or Miaphysite to create one. No. Where's my historian? No.
SMH.
Surely he's just wrong. Surely he just forgot. He probably just forgot about Nestorianism, right? That's likely. Right? They probably don't have any majority counties, right? So that's probably because, you know, it's a minor religion, so he didn't think like mentioning it, right? I think that's
shambles.
I mean, to my knowledge, the Nestorians have their own patriarchs. The Patriarch of Babylon, Patriarch of the East, whatever you want to call them. So it's possible that they have that already existing for the Nestorians.
Maybe it's not
autocephalous ones.
Maybe. Pray? I beg? Please? Oh, what country? Is a country that has to be Orthodox, or can they have Orthodox provinces? Oh yeah, you can't, as the pagans of Lithuania, make your own. Just be like, listen, all of the Orthodox people in our country, now listen to this guy who is totally not influenced by us.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The pagans.
Have it as your state religion in order to be able to create an autocephalous church.
But can you conquer one like the Ottomans did?
Oh, I'd assume so.
The Alexandrian one.
True, there is the Alexandrian one.
Ethiopia listens to that one.
It'd be under Mamluk control at this start date.
I wonder, there's probably, among other things, there's probably like a migration attraction thing for like pops to want to move to places that are holy sites for their religion. Because I just had this sudden just boom of like, I wonder how many Coptic people, Miaphysites, I know, yeah, they're Miaphysites, they're not Coptic, whatever they call them. There'll be probably quite a few Miaphysite pops in Alexandria and just around in Egypt, because that's a thing. I know, I don't know exactly how it works, but I know there were quite a few Coptic, and there still are to this day. Lots of Ethiopian church people there.
I think Egypt, even at this start date, 1337. You know, it still has quite a substantial Christian population. I mean, it was still majority Christian, and I want to say until at least the year 1000, but I'm not 100% sure.
So, point being, there's probably at least a few places that are still even Christian majority. And if not that, there's still probably quite a few places that are minority pops with quite a few. But it just had this sudden thought of, what if then it's a holy site? So I bet that there's like a lot of, not just pilgrims, there's probably like people that just move to those places. Like, I bet that it would not as much in Europe, because like peasants are pretty grounded, you know. But I bet a lot of the time, like Mecca, for example, Jerusalem, there's probably people from all over the Muslim world that move to those places, for example. And that just sounds interesting. Yeah. And like the Orthodox people, there's probably lots of people like that just move to Constantinople.
We did see holy sites exist.
Exactly my point. So those holy sites are probably relevant to migration stuff as well. And then there's the question of how does that affect new religions? Do the Lutherans, the Calvinists, where are their holy sites? Are they predefined? Are they dynamic? Do you choose? Do you as a player just like click a button and say this is a new one?
Lutheran has the holy site of my childhood church. Ignore the fact that it hasn't been settled yet.
Yes. In the Midwest, it's just you just like open up this list. All right, Lutheran holy sites, and there's just this one, and it says like it's like owner Dakota. It's like the fuck is that?
Exactly.
Who the fuck is that? Insert like Native American name.
There's a random holy site in Minnesota.
Anyway, fun stuff to think about, and yeah, I am yet again. I don't know. I know you're not necessarily you're a little let down by the whole companies thing, Dark, but for me, this is like I still have hope. I imagine there's more room for us to learn about that. But I am very excited about this. I'm very pleased with what we've heard so far today. So this is the wrap up. International organizations, dynamic system, modular thing, lack of real uniqueness. No, they got lots of uniqueness already. I can tell that. That's just silly. Tatar yoke. Why is the Golden Horde not part of it? The Golden Horde owns it. They are not part of it. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. So Islam can create a caliphate, maybe? No, only types that the content designers have created will exist. Some of them are dynamic and can be multiple. Okay.
So what he's saying is it's not like, for example, CK3, where you've got the culture maker or the religion maker. So you can't custom design your own international organization.
It's like Stellaris federations. You have certain types of federations, but you can't make a completely different type than the various options they've given you.
Correct.
So this means that, for example, there are some caliphates that already exist, and you can't make a new one. You just have to take control of it somehow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to create a new Sunni caliphate.
People did that.
They just took the title.
They have defined in the code the caliphate as an international organization type, and they've predefined under what circumstances that can be controlled. You cannot make a new international organization and brand it as the caliphate and get the caliphate stuff, because it's not one of those where you can make entirely brand new international organizations. The only ones that exist are the ones the content designers have made in advance.
Okay, yes. I just hope in that case that there can be a Shia and an Ibadi one as well for all three of the paths.
But there's probably only one for each of the religions.
That's fine. I don't mind that so much then. If the idea is you are a part of you don't need anti-caliphs. You don't need the anti-pope version of that. That's fine. I'm not going to complain about that. I can just try and be a big boy and take the caliphate for myself if I wanted so bad.
Disagrees.
Yes, I know, that was my point, is that Cordoba's a thing. That's an example, but it's not a thing that happened all the time. So it's kind of not necessarily best practice to make a whole system based around a thing that just happened the one time, and I think only the one time just for Sunni, and just when it was really, really big. So yeah, you don't want Egypt randomly deciding we are also the Sunni caliphate now, and then the Ottomans are like, no, we are, and then everyone's the caliphate, and then it just is completely pointless. If you want to be a caliphate, then I guess convert to Ibadi like a real boy and be based. Though I don't. I kind of doubt that religions in EU5 will have the same, like, because they talked about trade goods, for example, don't have it gives this local bonus. I kind of doubt that they're going to be like, this religion, you are this faith, so you get this bonus. It's probably all tied to mechanics and not permanent bonuses, because they've made a big deal about not wanting to have a lot of permanent bonuses that you can just rack up. Anyway. Hard-coded or customizable? Yeah. You can easily make your own just Protestant church organization if you want to. Yes, peasant republics are a special status in the HRE. A special status meaning that they are targeted for immediate destruction, but no one can kill them for some reason. Frisia because of pole vaulting. Yeah. The interesting thing about the Caliphate will work on the Golden Horde because only the ruler is Sunni and the majority of their population are Buddhist or other religions. Huh. I imagine so, though. I imagine that the Golden Horde would be considered part of that international organization, which is interesting. What effects does that have? How impactful is it that this nation is considered part of it, even though it's a very small portion of the nation that actually is Sunni? HRE is an organization you can join and potentially leave. How does it work now? French Duke. Land ownership for HRE is different from country membership. Yeah. Okay. That system you can bring other patriarchates under. Yeah. Force everyone under the correct patriarchate, because mine is the right one. Create organizations. Playing the game aside from coalitions, or is this only a neat design tool? Yeah. Just when he's talking about creating them, yeah, easily modding them is mostly the idea. Crown. Yeah, flavorful name. The crown of Castile and the crown of Aragon, which is neat. I imagine that can change under certain circumstances. I doubt you'd be called that, for example, if you are a republic. Maybe it's tied to a specific government type.
The most serene republic?
Yeah.
The Doge ship of Venice. And insert Doge meme here.
Doge to the moon.
Dogecoin. Unions. Yes, there are no subject PUs. All countries are equal in a union. Be able to create our own organizations during a game. Dismantle the HRE and make a new one. No. Lowercase.
HRE.
No.
If the HRE was so good, why was there HRE 2?
There was.
Oh, wait,
it was called the German.
It was called the German Confederation.
And it was better. I'm just salty.
It was just as ineffectual.
Well, it led to something.
Yeah, it led to wars
not
between
because
Prussia and Austria.
Yeah,
And then eventually Prussia bullied the rest in.
But that was less wars.
No, it was just a shorter time span.
Anyway.
Honestly, it was probably the same amount of wars.
Fine. The PC will use diplomatic relations slots. Yeah. Cost one slot.
That's what I was getting about.
Capacity. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're just messing around with like a slot, capacity. I think I like capacity. I think I like capacity because that's very modular, and there's a lot of ways you can mess around with how you get more, how much you get more. Do you get more from certain things? Do you stack them from like you keep doing this thing and it gives you a little bit more? A building? Maybe it's a build. No. I don't know. Tech. The tech gives you just like a little bit more. Government type. And then different things can cost different amounts. Like military access. That probably doesn't need a lot.
Military access.
Organizations use the same colors. Circumscript. I don't know. Karl the Fourth is not even king or emperor on that date. HRE starts without a proper. What? There is no emperor?
Interregnum.
Oh dear. That is very interesting. There is no emperor. Ooh. What do we do about that? How does one become the next one?
Well,
Before the Golden Ball.
I think you can solve this by electing an emperor.
But there's no... Well, fine. I guess I'll just make Bohemia like me and force them to not vote for themselves. Destroy them. Yes, destroy the High Kingdom of Ireland. Yeah. Yeah, the French crown is not one. Didn't think so. More dynamic PU. Their defensive alliances at best. What? What? Huh. That's interesting. A
He goes
PU
on
is
to expand upon that
oh.
in further comments.
Okay. Large emperor gonna no. Okay, you don't just like make a new one. You don't just be like, ah yes, you are now part of the Ottoman Empire or international organization. It is one national organization. Mine, me, the Ottomans. Oh, a separate map feedback thread. Every region will have their Friday. Yes.
Every region will have their Friday.
Yes, what I wanted. Laughter. Yes, I agree. There. Add laugh. Are the Teutonic Knights an international organization? No. I do like the just country's response. The Hands is one of these. Nope. They are a country with some other fun special attributes. But Lubeck is a thing. How the hell does this work? They're a country, but Lubeck is on the map. Lubeck is on the map. Riga's on the map. But somehow also the Hanse is a country.
Yes.
I think it's because countries can pursue their own international politics, whereas an international organization is only composed of its members. So the HRE has no will of its own.
Yeah.
It is only a vessel through which its members take actions.
I
Whereas
really
colonial and trade companies have its own ambitions, desires, political concerns.
I really would love if it actually is a case of I am Lubeck and that's Riga, and together we are a part of the Hansa country, even though the Hansa country is not on the map and it has its own influence and makes its own decisions and stuff. I would really like that. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I would love that so much because that is the company's thing that Dark is talking about wanting, and he's gotten me wanting it. And now we both want it. And I can see the path to that thing. I just don't think it's the case. Yeah. You did not mention leagues like the Hansa. Those organizations. Are some of these organizations directly... Okay, no. Only countries are playable entities.
Johan just keeps dodging everything about trade leagues and colonial companies and everything because it's probably
Yeah.
a dev card he's already got plotted.
I know, and it's just this is so. I was reading closely and thinking, okay, he might slip here. No, he doesn't. But he's being so tactful with what he's saying because it's like I want. Can I play the Hansa? But the Hansa's not on the map, Johan. What does this mean? Can I play them, or am I playing Lubeck? I might. PC might be the first game. Paradox. 3 to really represents Switzerland as a permanent military alliance of independent cities and cantons. We have not done Switzerland flavor yet, but the Swiss Confederation is one of the reasons to make this system. Yay! That I didn't think about that. Yeah, because then that's yet another case of inside the HRE, there's this another like group of shitheads that are all like together and they're friends and they watch each other's backs. And goddamn, you could just never so ass to fight people. All the Swiss will just they'll get together and fight you. Yeah, new mechanics for aggressive expansion coalitions. Graphics are works in progress, but switch the flags are not shadowed. But they look so nice when they wave in the game. I like waving flags. That's cool. All right, how much you guys got in you? Are we done here? Or are we doing one more?
Oh no, another whole page. Oh lord.
Depends on how fast we move through it.
You get another page.
How fast?
Well, this page will be the last one for sure. Then, if not less than that. Dynamic empires. They use the unions. Yep. Multiple unions. Different integration progress. Have characters in the game like Imperator. EU4 had... This is the thing. This is the... EU4 had characters. The leader of the HRE was the character that ruled the country. Player can restore former patriarch seats. Should be able to... Yeah, he just doesn't know all the answers to this. He's not the one designing everything. Modern can do whatever they want in this. Yeah, it looks possible to define something like the Confederation of the Rhine. Yeah, you could do that. Makes sense. Does mean they can not join offensive wars. You'd need to sign an alliance, so you'd need to both be in a union and then also allied. Oh, does this work? I'm very curious how that works. Would it be possible as modern to say model Catholic Church? Capacity system is better. It's also less obvious. Yeah, constant debate, capacity or slots. Between in England are led by the same ruler. Hope we can. Yeah, the Black Prince.
The Black Prince.
I was assuming that Aquitaine. I imagine that Aquitaine would be a vassal, but I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Their personal union.
PU is a type of international organization. There's always ways to make a PU integrated. It's very odd. Yeah, okay. I don't know why.
That's a very small part of a much larger quote. The very odd that Wales is the subject of England, because they were complaining, why is Wales represented as an independent vassal and not the Isle of Man, which is a crown dependency?
It's one county. It's so small.
Yeah,
abandoning the percentage chance system. That abomination from EU3 and 4 is not something. What?
The percentage chance they're talking about is the chance of inheriting a personal union upon changing ruler.
Oh God, I love that abomination is not something Project Caesar will have. No, we will not have any percentage chance of inheriting. No, okay, yeah, like. Good. Yeah, logic. May I ask when you'll talk about the military system again? Early autumn. Aww. Lots of other stuff to show before then. Okay. Well, I'm excited, but I want to see more about the armies. I want to see more about everything, though. Budget. The Luther guy may have a solution. Oh.
Because of the papal tide.
Please help, my country is going to go bankrupt and my loans to the burghers are up soon. Oh, damn. I'm paying all of this money and the 100 ducats to the Pope. International organization. Unique interface with flavorful blocks. Yes, good old UI. Can the player country call a country the PU into War for price? No, you just got a part of a future union beneficial interaction. Yeah. I'll say
Integration.
Yeah. I would, that's what I expected. The fact that he's saying they're defensive at best really surprised me. It's like, it's saying that you have to sign an alliance in addition to that. Because it's like, oh, I imagined that it would be a case of you're a union and you move back and forth between how integrated you are, and that a certain level of integration is just, you are essentially a vassal. With it being unequal. Because that idea, where it's like, how equal are you? And then how far is it tilted to one side? But I don't know. The idea is that they're both equal. So how do you, with a union, actually integrate them? I don't know how that works. But
I think you'd have to represent the power imbalance between the kingdoms in some way. For example, England was bigger and more populated, more economically prosperous than Scotland, so it makes sense that the gravity shifted to London.
Aquitaine is probably a PU as well. So
yeah, and how does Poland and Lithuania? Just Poland was.
International organizations can have a leader. It's probably a case of England, for example, has PUs. England is the leader of the PU of this like international organization of these PUs. And then they can, once they become the leader, leading, the capacity is better. Yeah, well, Johann's leading towards it. He's the leader, but maybe we'll get capacity then. We'll see. Rebellions, force, and organization, not before they are proper countries. I don't know. Okay. Dark, I can save you. It's okay. You can stop dying now. We'll stop. It's okay.
That's fine. If you want to keep going.
Yeah, that was really nice and fast.
When I think you guys are dying, I can speed things up. So, well, maybe we can go a bit more then. I'm not seeing all that many repeat questions, and there are still some interesting things. Okay, well, there's one. Swiss Confederation. Other entity types become playable in the future? No. That has me a little concerned, but I don't know. Whatever, we'll see. Whatever.
Because
don't know
entity types. He's talking about, can we play as the international organizations instead of countries?
Yeah. I guess that's you can't play as the HRE itself. Yeah. Trade companies are a thing. Number of electors. Is the number of electors secular and electors spiritual in the empire fixed? You don't know. Fun team building celebrations this afternoon. Wow. Oh my golly gee. Month of game time, declaring war. He wants to know about the 1 month grace period declaring war. Oh my god. Playable trade companies. Yeah, he's being very vague on that, is the thing, because a trade company is not an international organization, and it sounds like a trade company is somehow maybe a country, but how does that work? I don't know. 1 month wait plus cooldowns confirmed. There is in fact the 1 month cooldown at the start of the game. Oh, the Kalmar Union exists at this point? It was around that long? God damn.
I don't think so.
No, it's not around.
It could form, though.
Talking about if it formed, it's a union like any other.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense then. It is a union. Yes. That is how it exists. Which makes them so much weaker, relatively speaking, because they're just defensive allies. Though you could, I guess, just ally each other and call each other into wars. Could the same nation be 2 or more different at once? Yep. PU dissolve. Talk about that in a few weeks. All right, I want to know more about how PUs and other things like this work. Yeah. Beams. Associations. The Catholic Church is an association. I kind of like that name.
It works. I think either that or international organizations is fine.
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't. It's not a bad name, but I don't think it's any better. I don't see. Yeah, one of the possible levels of union might be similar to the. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how they're working yet. They're still toiling away on it, and I'm sure that before each and every one of these dev diaries, they have a little bit of like, oh, quick, we got to do some last minute things to show off, or like so that we can talk about it, you know. And they just don't know. Like unions are so like. The idea, it sounds like they've been barely done yet, is the idea. That they're not very well far along, and they're still trying to figure out how exactly they want them to work. Protectorates make a turn? Dominion is a type of subject. That is the same ruler as its overlord. So it's another, it's similar to a PU, I guess, in some ways. They can't be created arbitrarily. The Ottomans, no. Oh, well. Yep. Coalition. Laughter, yep. Consists of like diplomatic action, different costs. I think it should work the following way. An alliance between France and Ulm should cost more for Ulm than France. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I really like this idea. I think, yeah, it should very much cost a lot of diplomatic just presence for
so you're saying it's going to be harder for me to just ally France and call them into every war to do all the fighting for me now?
I would hope so. I imagine that for the little just free city of Ulm, I do believe that it would take a lot more of your capabilities to keep a running working relationship with the French crown. Scale the medieval map does not scare the casual player away, then trying to understand diplomatic capacity won't. It's this is worth 3.2 capacity now. Yeah, that's the sort of thing where it's just, you gotta...
It becomes very clunky. I feel like you kind of basically have to leave it to the first or the second decimal point at most.
Oh, please, just the first. No, just one decimal point. 3.2, please. That's all. That'll still be enough micromanaging. Yes. Unless the union becomes more formalized. So yeah, as you're saying, Rizond, I imagine then, yeah, you could probably, as you work with this union international organization, you could attempt to consolidate it more somehow, and then eventually perhaps make them into a single country. I don't bloody know, though.
And the union of the two towers.
Yes. I cannot wait. Well, that doesn't work, though, because it's not a personal union. Because Sauron and Saruman are different rulers.
And the union of the two kingdoms.
There we go, the reunited kingdom. Yeah. Aragorn.
Oh, no, that's one ruler.
No. Yes, that's a PU. Aragorn is a PU over Gondor and Arnor.
I don't think that's gonna be a PU situation.
I think it is. I think it. Yeah. Oh God, this.
Hey, it's called the Reunited Kingdom, not the Reunited Kingdoms.
So
well, actually, the full title I'd use is the Reunited Kingdoms of Arnor and Gondor.
You're hurting my argument, Vector. No.
The way I'd actually do it is I would make it so that Aragorn would get Arnor, and then he would get a PU on Gondor, and then he would need to accomplish something to integrate Gondor. So, like, at first it would just be, they'd be PUs, and then Gondor would have, like, its vassals, like Dol Amroth or something.
Let's not get ahead of anything, guys. Let's not get to Realms in Exile EU5 yet.
Yeah, besides, we already know Lords of the Universalis is coming out for EU5, and they do a great job with their authenticity.
Getting ahead of ourselves. Vector, I'm like, yeah, I spend like two nights every week, at least like 2 nights every week I spend as I'm going to sleep. I'm just like drawing stuff on maps and world buildings for when I'm working on my own mod when EU5 comes out. So getting ahead of myself, no, this is the perfect time. You gotta set the stuff down beforehand. It's the creative juices flowing. Black part of the map in the east mean that we get progressive map unveiled. We need pretty looking terra incognita. I need it to look nice. Like Civilization 6's clouds. That's cool. Like it's like, no, Civ 5 has the clouds, sorry. Civ 5 has the clouds that are kind of, they're there, they're fine. Civ 6 is the really nice map. I don't know, whatever. We'll see what they do. Overlapping organizations that, yeah. You just have them at the bottom of the screen, I imagine, and you just click on one. Hopefully it doesn't get too cluttered.
Tiny buttons.
Difference between being led by a country or a character. Countries are not always... Yeah, countries do not always have a ruler, and if it is a character and that character dies, a new leader will be picked. The USA... In real life, the USA is always the leader of NATO, even though the ruler of the USA has switched quite a few times.
I mean, he's not wrong. The Secretary General of NATO is always American.
So the idea, like...
or the Supreme Commander of NATO, rather.
So the comparison here he's making is that the leader of the personal unions of England, for example, is always the country of England, even though the ruler's not always the same. So I think, maybe. The HRE is not always led by the same country, but it is led by a character, so it's the opposite. What happens to the High Kingdom of Ireland when the whole island is controlled by England or Great Britain? Pokes him. Pokes another down.
Your only way to know is to go to the next page.
Oh my god. Must find out. I imagine it just gets destroyed.
No, the English crown themselves as High King of Ireland.
They are now the only member of it, of the organization. Swedes were constantly trying to break free in the Danes, keep the Union. That was an That was an occupation by a hostile conqueror. Totally different. It's not a personal union. Yes, good on you, Johan. The last page, 2 pages ago. Be quiet, Goatbush. Do not need your input here. I shall draw. I shall draw on you. The sword has been here the whole time. It did not go away. It has been waiting for you. Where's the dude? There's Saints. There's Saint Dave. All right. Will members of the HRE not have to worry about much of the land they control connected? Yeah, no need to worry about how much of their land is connected. Yeah, I hope that as Austria, I'm going to be able to just move between my lands and not have to ask everyone for permission, because holy shit, Austria's in like 8 pieces. Yeah, alright. International organizations are not eternal and can disappear for a variety of reasons. Some will fail as soon as there's no valid country leader, whereas others are more aspirational or cultural in nature. Do not need a leader to still exist in the minds of its members. So, Kingdom of Ireland exists even when there's no leader, but if someone takes over the place, then it stops existing, is the idea. So, our kingdom, yeah, leadership is limited to specific countries with a capital in Ireland and will persist as long as it has members. So, yeah, as soon as all of the Irish chiefs / lords / earls, whatever the fuck they're called, as soon as they're all gone, then it just stops being a concept. England can theoretically become the High King if it manages to jump through hoops to become a valid member. But if it doesn't, then the international organization will fall out of existence once all its members become extinct. But, yeah, features are still subject to change. So maybe, for example, it will pop into existence again if England blows up. Whatever. We'll see. They're not fixed. Oh, the number of both secular and ecclesiastical electors can be increased by approving further laws, and they aren't fixed to land, which means that the emperor might be able to replace the electoral palatinate of the Rhine with the electorate of Bavaria by using authority. Woo! Woo-wee! That sounds fun. I want to just yoink. I don't like you. Time to yoink your power and give it to... Now Holstein's the elector. Take that, because you don't like me, and I have authority. Words for European vassals, very specifically. Chinese feudalism. Team do additional research on Chinese subject. Okay, yeah. Just naming stuff. Versatile. IO is multiple countries. Treaty? What?
Ready.
Treaty?
He word wrong.
Treaty.
He's just a simple Swede in Barcelona.
Poor
crying
man.
his brain on the sands.
This poor man. And yes, our treaties are entirely new and unique as well. Okay. Use work with the international organization system. Does that mean viral thingy? Brandenburg is a subject of the emperor and an elector, was in P with Prussia. That is whack.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed that they're able to simulate that now.
Okay. What the... Okay. Brandenburg is a subject of the emperor and an elector, was in a PU with Prussia. And Prussia's a Prussia's a... It's like...
two subjects of different overlords can be in the same international organization in the form of a personal union.
Whew! God damn. Will the Caliphate... Yeah. Patriarchate. Oh! Tarnovo. Change to Patriarch. Spending.
But there are also still countries that don't directly own locations. This is what I want to know about. This is what I want to know about. What are these?
Johan, please tell us, what does this mean? Because this is exactly what I keep telling you, Dark. I keep you're despairing, and I'm like, but Dark, the Hansa's a country. He's said it's a country, and he's explicitly saying countries are playable. And he's being very careful in wording around stuff.
This is what I want to know. Can I play the British East India Company even before they take land in India?
And how do they get formed? How does that happen? The Hansa is a country, but doesn't have land. How does that work?
Yeah, we know it's the banks, but what other than the banks? Are there more than just banks?
And the banks aren't playable. The banks are not countries. They are non-state entities, or some such thing. I forget what they describe them as exactly. It's something else. But he has very explicitly stated that the Hansa is a country, does not own land. But he's stated that the Hansa is a country, and we can see that Lübeck and Riga are their own countries, which means that the Hansa does not have land. What's that mean? It means you can play them, but they don't have land. How does that work? And he said, there are also still countries that don't directly own locations. There just are. What is that? What does that mean? How does this work? How can I mod this? Can I play, can I play a colonial charter? The East India Company or some such thing? How does that happen? How does that get made? Can I then decide to play it?
We are KEKW unaware, and we lack the critical information.
I must know. Could you somehow?
I don't think he would ever give us.
Guys, we're just going round in circles. We just have to wait at this point.
I know. I don't think we'll get an answer until he talks about it in the dev diary.
Vector, what if this means that we could play a game where someone is playing as the Hansa, and then another person is playing as Lubeck, and then another person is playing as Riga, and you all work together somehow? I will not stop. Okay, I will stop.
Yeah, reply.
I will stop because I want to keep going.
We're
What
almost done.
determine whether or not a country gets dynamic name? Bohemia is called the kingdom. Blah blah blah. Hungary. It's always just the size on the map. Oh,
Which makes sense.
if it fits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I imagine what he's saying here is just like something like the crown. Okay, so like Austria just says Austria in some places, and then in other it's just AUS.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
And I
sense. Then.
imagine
Okay.
if you sufficiently conquered enough contiguous land, it would rename to the Archduchy of Austria.
Yes, and then you have stuff like the Crown of Aragon. If it wasn't, there's probably specific reasons why they each have names like that, like the Crown. You could probably change it. I like maybe
Although that
Rhine.
makes me think we'll probably have a unique dynamic name for the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland.
Oh, no, no. United Kingdom of Great Britain. I imagine here that because we've got Rhine, Rhine probably, if you make it into a noodle, contiguous noodle, Rhine probably becomes Palatinate of Rhine.
Or the Elector Palatinate.
Electoral Palatinate of the Rhine or some shit.
I can't wait to see Kingdom of Die.
Yes. What is it short for? Is it like Dieputz or some like German word like that?
Probably.
Or is it die? It must be die. Anyway. Price ranges. Oh. Price range is scripted. Yeah. If a nation with a longer name gets land taken away, they could get Dithmarschen becomes Dit. Yeah. In most places in the UI. Yeah, okay. Even if they are an Ulm. So there is no hard-coded maximum prices. Wait, what is this a link to? Is Ulm Ulm? Unique location miners.
On unique location miners. For countries that only have a single location instead of a one province miner.
True.
Oh.
Just
a ULM. I like this. I like ULMs. This is fantastic. Prices. Fixed point number. And the unmodded game, 50 times max. Weird questions about the way prices work. And that, at last, is the end of this. We've gone through 5 pages of this. Dear God.
You've held some decent viewership. We've held double digits the whole way.
Yes. There's a lot of folks watching this, which is neat. I guess that's what happens when you keep doing something.
Keep on the grind.
People find that you're doing it, and if they think you're cool, they will continue to watch. Wow.
Next time, you should do an announcement, too.
Oh, wow. What? Yeah, maybe I will even make an announcement. Maybe. Who knows? And here I will plug at the end of here, if there's any of you wackos who actually listen to the all the way to the end of these VODs, I believe I should have linked. I still have it linked. Yeah, I've got my Discord linked in the description if you want to be one of those folks who hangs out in the Discord and gets annoyed by me every time that I'm going to stream something, like whether it's this or Ghost of Tsushima. I will let you know, and you can blame Dark for it. Off stream with no announcement. Off stream with no announcement. No, that doesn't work. Stream with no announcement. Whoa. Alright. But yes, I do believe that is all that we've got to say this time around. Though it has been a long one, and we've had lots of things to say and very exciting stuff to theorize on. Very excited to see what they talk about. Well, tomorrow is already. Tomorrow's Friday. They're going to show off a new map. Maybe I'll do an impromptu stream where I just rant about the map and see who's around. All right. But for now, I will end this here. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.